Alright, hey guys, Paxer, welcome back to another Pokemon Pocket video. In this video, we're pretty much going to be deciding whether you should or should not summon on the new pack, the Deluxe Pack EX, aka A4B. Also, before I start the video, I just want to quickly note that I'm trying something different for this video. As you can see, this is me right here. This is how I look in real life. Yes, kind of made this PNG tuber very spontaneously, and honestly, I kind of like it. I feel like it's kind of a cool thing to introduce to my channel, something to differentiate myself from other Pokemon Pocket YouTubers. And yeah, just a little face reveal. Yeah, because yes, this is totally how I look in real life. I'm 2D in real life, but yeah, the main question is that should you summon or not summon on this pack? And the straight up answer is that it really does depend. It depends on you, and it really depends on what cards you are missing out, because this card has a lot of cards. As you can see right here, yeah, this pack has 353 diamond rarity cards, so definitely a lot. And yeah, there's a lot of very good cards. There's a lot of pretty bad cards as well. Currently, this is the biggest single pack in the game, so yeah, a lot of good cards and a lot of, again, bad cards. And in this video, I'm pretty much going to be going over all the cards, just going down the list, kind of giving my takes and opinions on the cards, and then hopefully by the end of the video, you guys can kind of gauge on like whether you should or should not summon, because yeah, it really depends on you as a player. And keep in mind, this is limited time. This event will go away on August 30th, and again, to add on to that, we will have the launch of Series B, which will have 3 featured packs. Once those packs come out, I'll definitely be covering that. So yeah, with that being said, consider liking and subscribing, and without further ado, let's get right into this. Also, this video is divided into 2 parts. I'll be going over all the diamond rarity cards. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to be going over the gold rarity cards. Timestamps will be in the description, and of course, I'm using the website Pokemon Zone, also in the description. And yeah, let's get right into this. So yeah, all these cards right here, I mean, this pack is pretty much an amalgamation of just every card, every EX from previous packs, or at least most of them from I've seen. I don't think this includes the recent ones, like especially the ones from Secluded Springs. I don't think. We shall see later on, but yeah, looking at this, first cards we have are Bulbasaur. Yeah, the Bulbasaur's Venusaur, not really that good. Weedle, I'm just gonna kind of skim over this. Some of these I'll probably skip, just kind of like mentioning very noteworthy cards. We have Beedrill, could have a bit of potential in the meta. It really depends, because they can very much add a card that synergizes well with Beedrill. Imagine if they add like a Beedrill support card or something, or another grass card that has a better synergy with this card. I remember back in the day, Meowscarada was very good, given that they both require only 2 energy, but then this guy kind of got replaced with the Decidueye, Shuckle. Let's not talk about this guy. Yeah, just hard skip. Celebi. This Celebi EX used to be so good. In my opinion, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun using this guy. Not really that good in the meta. I mean, there's gonna be some instances where this card just sells, because as you can see, this card is coin flip reliant. But despite that, you could potentially do around like 200 to 300 damage. The potential is really limitless. The only thing that's kind of limiting is 1, your opponent like this destroying the Celebi, and 2, of course, the time limit and the turn limit. But yeah, not really that great in the meta, but still a very fun card to use. If you want to have like a very solid, very fun card to use for like solo battles or just casual battles in general, I feel like you're gonna have a lot of fun Celebi, because this card paired with non-EX Superior can do a lot of damage. So yeah, very fun card overall. Just going down, Cherubi, not that good. Got Cherubi, Cherim, so far not that good. Leafeon, yeah, very variable. I feel like this card was the strongest when it first came out, and it had a bit of a resurgence in the Evolutions meta back in the Eevee Grove meta, paired with Flareon and the non-EX Leafeon, as well as one Sylveon. So very fun card. I mean, in my opinion, this is probably one of the most satisfying cards to use. Maybe it's just me, but the ability Force Breath, just being able to attach an energy to one of your grass Pokemon and attack at the same time, it just feels like you're getting so much value using this card. So yeah, I feel like this card might come back to the meta. It really depends, but yeah, I mean, currently the grass type is kind of suffering. There's really nothing good with grass going on currently, aside from Buzzwole. Currently, I feel like Buzzwole EX is the go-to grass deck. But again, I mean, they can very much add a very broken grass EX later on, potentially next month, because so far all we know from next month is, of course, the 3 megas. We don't know about the EXs, and yeah, I mean, there could be something huge. I mean, if you think about it, I wouldn't be surprised if they add a much more broken EX card aside from the megas. Because I mean, if you think about Genetic Apex, sure, Mewtwo, Charizard, and Pikachu were pretty good, but also, I mean, debatably, Starmie was huge also back in the day, and also Articuno EX, so they can very much add something that's very good for grass, Snivy, Servine, and Superior. So yeah, as I was stating, a good pairing with Celebi. I feel like if you run Celebi, a somewhat must run is superior. I mean, you can still make Celebi work, but this is just you're getting so much value. So this Pokemon basically multiplies your grass energy. So if this card is on the field, 1 grass energy is 2, 2 is 4, 5 is 10. And yeah, you could very much still run Celebi without this guy, but it's going to be so satisfying if you get like in scenarios when you get 4 energy attached onto Celebi, which with superior on your field is equivalent to 8 coin flips. You can do up to 400 damage. So yeah, very satisfying yet again. Not really that meta relevant. Again, there's probably much better cards on this list, but still very cool to see. Rowlet, this Dartrix, the Decidueye. Same thing with Decidueye. Decidueye is very interesting. I feel like currently, aside from Buzzwood EX, the second best grass type EX is definitely Decidueye. Yeah, just looking at his ability, Pierce to Pain, does very good damage. This guy paired with Greninja can do some insane amount of damage. Granted, it does require a bit of RNG. Razor Leaf does 80 damage, which is okay. 170 HP, very tanky, and does, of course, since he's stage 2, he does benefit from Lily. And if you guys are curious, we'll get there when we get there, but Lily is also in this pack. A lot of supporter cards, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to cards in general, I feel like, yeah, this guy got kind of phased out the meta, not really that viable. But yet again, I feel like we're just 1 card away from him being back. Like, I don't think he's aged that poorly. If anything, yeah, he might eventually come back. But yeah, we shall see. Only time will tell. Next card, Delmise. I'm just gonna block it just to help you guys. Just not talk about that. This is, yeah, just forget about Delmise. But on the other hand, we have Buzzwood EX. A very fun archetype. I really do like this. I feel like he's the heart of the Ultra Beast archetype. Like, sure, there are decks like Nagon Nadel and Guzzlord EX, but this deck is so much fun. Pairing Buzzwood EX with Celesteela, if you want Kartana or Pheromosa, you get so much value, and it's a ton of fun to run. So yeah, as you can see, Pheromosa's right here. Very good for chipping your opponent's backline. Kartana, very good for just chipping your opponent's active. And yeah, if you guys are curious, Lusamine is here, of course, because I mean, if Lusamine isn't in this pack, then I feel like it doesn't really make much sense having these guys in here as well, because Lusamine is pretty much essential for an Ultra Beast deck. Yeah, very fun archetype. You can still see some viability in the meta to this day with Buzzwood EX. I've used that in ranked this last season, and I won a couple games, so he's really just not out yet. Still pretty good. Next card we have is Sprigatito, Floragato, and Meowscarada. Meowscarada this card dominated the meta for a while. Just being able to do 120 damage to your opponent's EX Pokemon. Yeah, that's insane. And currently, I mean, this card also gets benefited by both Erica as well as Lily, since this card is a stage 2. HP 140, kind of frail. So keep in mind, once Mega Blaziken does come out, this card is going to get one-shotted by that. So it's kind of scary, but at the same time, Grass type has Leaf Cape just to help you out a little bit. Yeah, currently in the meta, not that great. I mean, I feel like you're getting much more value with running Oricorio, just with Oricorio being a huge wall. And speaking of Oricorio, we shall see if he's in this pack. I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, Meowscarada, very fun non-EX, used to be the non-EX killer. And yeah, similar to Decidueye EX, this card could come back to the meta. All right, so that's all for grass. We're going into fire type. We got Charmander, Charmeleon, and then the Charizards. Oh yes, this is great. So we got 2 Charizards here. We got Genetic Apex, Shining Revelry. So this is from Genetic Apex. Used to be a monster, but in my opinion, nowadays, I feel like you're getting more value using this one from Shining Revelry. Same HP, but the only difference, of course, but this card is far more consistent. For one thing, Stoke. Because of Stoke, this card is basically self-sufficient when in regards to energy. So basically feeding himself. So yeah, Stoke. There's gonna be a lot of instances where this guy can just one-shot. So let's say like, think about like Suicune, all the evolution EXs are below 150. Like without Giant Cape, they're all below 150. So yeah, this Charizard can just one-shot all of them. Whereas this guy used to be good. Slash does 60, which is okay, I guess. But when it comes to Crimson Storm, to use this, you have to discard 2 energy. And the ideal strat back in the day was to pair this guy with Moltres EX. And yeah, we shall see. I'm pretty sure Moltres EX is here, so we'll talk more about that. Not really that consistent, but yeah, with that being said, yeah, this guy, you need to basically run some energy support to make this guy somewhat viable so that you're able to do 200 damage. That is pretty huge. There's really no other card that has that kind of damage number. Sure, there are cards that can mimic that, like Celebi and Alcremie, but when it comes to just a flat-out damage number, this guy, yeah, 200 is pretty insane. So he's the only one who pretty much does 200 just flat damage. So yeah, very cool. And when it comes to relevancy, the main counter for him is Oricorio, but I wouldn't be surprised if they add an Oricorio counter, because Oricorio, the main thing that makes him is his ability. The card's ability is very broken, but if they add imagine a supporter card that negates abilities for a round. It's free game, man. This card can attack that Nightmare Bird or Oricorio, just doing 150, demolishing that, turning that bird into literal fried chicken. So yeah, this Charizard EX has potential. In my opinion, I feel like this guy, his time has run out. But again, you never know. It really depends on what Dina decides to add. Next cards we have Growlithe, Arcanine. Arcanine, yeah, he's okay. Not really that good in my opinion. Flareon EX, very great, especially with the pairings. Just the whole evolution meta is pretty fun, especially with supporter cards like Eevee Bag. You're gonna get some pretty good value. When it comes to meta relevancy, I can very much see this guy coming back into the meta, slowly getting phased out. But again, when it comes to just fun decks, this card is pretty fun, especially paired with non-EX Leafeon, and Sylveon EX. Yeah, in my opinion, that deck is like one of the most fun decks this so far in general. I have a deck showcase on my channel using that deck. I'll put it in the description if I remember, but yeah, just look it up. It's on my channel. Very fun. Requires a bit of thinking, but at the same time, if you pull off a combo, it just feels super rewarding. So yeah, it's Flareon, Infernape. Okay, yeah, so Infernape, when it comes to this card, I feel like this card could come back. It very much can. I can very much see people pairing this with, I can see that being somewhat viable, especially if they do add an Oricorio counter. Just running Infernape EX, having him lead, and after this Pokemon gets knocked out, sub in Mega Blaziken. HP 170, so pretty tanky already. Flare Blitz does 140, very good. Requires only 2 energy, which is pretty nice. The main downside is that after attacking, you discard all fire energy from this Pokemon. But to kind of counteract that, this guy does have no retreat value, so it's a free retreat. So after your opponent's turn, you can just sub out this guy for free. So very good, but still a blast to use. Lily support is very good. Yeah, again, if anything, I feel like you might get some pretty good value with this card towards the low to mid tier ranks. High ranks like Ultra Ball and Master Ball, unlikely. Next we have is Litten, Torracat, and Incineroar. This guy is very good. One of the few EXs that can actually do damage to Oricorio, because if you guys don't know, Fire Fang, 30 base damage, doesn't do jack shit to Oricorio, of course. However, your opponent's active is now burned. So you can do 20 to 40 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, and if that's Oricorio gets affected, which is pretty good. I really do like this card's moveset because, yeah, you have something for the early game, just doing Fire Fang, doing a bit of chip damage, and then Scar Charge Smash, 80 base damage, can do 140 if this Pokemon has damage on it. So, and keep in mind, this card is pretty tanky. 180 HP, stage 2, so of course, benefiting from Lily. And top of that, there's also How. I might as well mention How right now. How buffs the Decidueye EX, Incineroar EX, and Primarina EX, doing plus 30 damage. And so yeah, given that, just looking back at Incineroar, Scar Charge Smash paired with How can do 170, which can one-shot most of the meta-relevant EXs currently in the meta. And overall, Blastoise, in my opinion, I kind of prefer this guy compared to this Charizard, because yeah, very solid, but I feel like this card is better if your opponent has an EX. If your opponent has a full non-EX deck, then in my opinion, Incineroar is a lot better because you're getting a lot of value towards the early game, just chipping your opponent's active with Fire Fang. If you aren't going against Oricorio, this card is doing 50 to 70 damage because of Fire Fang plus the burnt status effect. So yeah, very fun card. And when it comes to the future, it really depends, but I feel like he's pretty solid. I wouldn't say this card has aged poorly at all, because yeah, still very viable today. And again, the main issue with him is Oricorio. Oricorio is kind of just messing him up, but if they do add an Oricorio counter, he's gonna get buffed, pretty much, in a sense. But yeah, that's Incineroar. That's all the fire type Pokemon. Next one we have Magikarp Gyarados. Very interesting card. That's the same amount of value as his Mega counterpart, Rampaging Whirlpool. This card, I mean, I'm not really big fan of the attack ability, because Rampaging Whirlpool can do 140, very tanky, but after attacking, you discard a random energy from among the energy attached to all Pokemon. So this could hinder you as well. You could discard either Gyarados' energy or someone from your bench. Back in the day, this card used to be huge in the meta. A bit of an underdog because when he was first released, not many people thought the card was going to be that great. But when it comes to the meta, I kind of doubt this card will come back. If anything, I mean, we're getting Mega Gyarados next month. So Mega Gyarados, debatably better, getting more value. Oh, here we go. Greninja. Oh my gosh. Now this card is probably one of the best. This guy aged like fine wine. He really did. Because he came out, as you can see, it says right here, he came out in Genetic Apex. And he's still very great to this day. A lot of decks run him, and his card is just so good, especially paired with Cyrus. You would just chip your opponent's backline, Cyrus, into active, and you can just one-shot. You can basically just bully your opponent. And top of that, Mistlash is a very decent attack in my opinion. Does 60 damage, only requires 2 energy, and paired with his ability, you're doing 80. This card is a staple for a lot of decks, especially water type, and currently, again, very prominent in the current meta. And for foreseeable future, I can very much see the same thing happening. So yeah, I feel like this is one of the top 5 cards you probably want to get from this pack. If you don't have him already, because aside from this, the only way to pretty much get him currently is from Genetic Apex and Extra Dimensional Crisis. Because keep in mind, Extra Dimensional Crisis has its shiny version, which I have, which is pretty cool. Very cool art. But yeah, very much must get in my opinion if you don't have him already. Wugtrio, basically a knockoff version of Dragonite, non-EX Dragonite. You can see a bit of value, very fun, because essentially, if you guys don't know, after attacking with this card, one of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 3 times. For each time a Pokemon was chosen, do 50 damage onto it. Very inconsistent, but fun nevertheless. So yeah, when it comes to ranked, I mean, this guy can very much sell you, can very much win you the game. You can just instantly you can just flat out do 150 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So yeah, but when it comes to the meta, not good, but again, very fun. Next cards we have Alolan Raichu. Yeah, not really that great. Pikachu, we got the 2 Pikachus right here. I feel like these cards might have a bit of potential. Pikachu just came out from Genetic Apex, very frail. I feel like that's the main issue on why this card wasn't really that used as much. But currently, or at least in the previous month, it did have a bit of resurgence, especially with the addition of baby Pokemon supporting this guy. Can potentially do 90 damage. Yeah, very good. This other one can do 150. But after attacking, you discard all energy from this Pokemon. These two have a lot of potential, depending if they add an electric type Pokemon that has a lot of synergy with it. But nevertheless, still very solid. I feel like in ranked, again, towards the mid to low tier, you could very much still run Pikachu. I mean, there's a lot of energy supports for electric at this point. You have Babies, Magneton, Elemental Switch, Zeraora, and Electrical Wire. So there's a lot to just like get this guy instantly fed. Speaking of the GOAT, Magneton. This card is the best middle evolution. I feel like if you're running this Magnezone, there's no reason on why you shouldn't run this Magneton. Like sure, there are rare candies, but you're just getting so much value with this guy's ability, Volt Charge. Once during your turn, you may take a Lightning Energy from Energy Zone, attach it to this Pokemon. And you can do this before evolving. So let's say, okay, so looking at Magnezone, he requires 3 energy to attack. Let's say you're at the turn in which you can evolve into Magnezone. Your Magneton only has 1 energy. But keep in mind, unlike Giratina EX's ability, Volt Charge does not end your turn, so you can just use this before evolving, giving you 2 energy, and of course you can just feed him 1 extra energy, just like that. And a very self-sufficient card, because you can just build this guy in your bench. You could essentially farm energy with this card, so you could very much use Volt Charge as a supporter ability for your active, and then use Elemental Switch to exchange the energy. Still, hands down, one of the best. This card is just so good in my opinion. It's like you get so much value, and I really do like it because again, from Genetic Apex, this card has been broken for so long that it's kind of, I like it. I really do like it. Very nice to see this. I feel like this card is somewhat on par with Greninja. If anything, you might get more value with Greninja, but when it comes to this energy support, this guy is just absolutely goated. Oh, here we go. We're getting into the meat of things right here. So we got next card, Oricorio, the Nightmare Bird. Just everybody knows this. If you've ever played the game for the last 3 or 4 months, then you know this card. And if in case you guys don't know, Safeguard, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's EX. Essentially a wall. Your opponent really can't do much if they have an EX Pokemon, but again, there are certain EXs that kind of counter this, such as Darkrai EX, and as I stated earlier, Incineroar as well. Zap, 50 damage. Decent. I feel like it's pretty decent. Just doing a little bit of chip damage, just being a wall and just like slowly chipping them. If you don't have this card, I very much suggest you get it. So I feel like this is one of the best things you can probably get. Only a 3 diamond rarity. Also, I probably should mention the other ones, but yeah, 3 diamond rarity. So when it comes to exchanging your pack points, only 150. So yeah, something to note. Next card, Tapu Koko. Very decent, very self-sustaining with energy somewhat. Ideally, how you play this guy is that if you go second, use attack using Plasma Hurricane. Next turn should be fully built because of Plasma Hurricane's attack ability. Gets 1 extra energy, making it so that you can use Mac Bolt your next turn. Pretty good currently, but I wouldn't be surprised if they add a much more broken electric type in the future. Next card we have is Zeraora. A very good card if you play him your first turn, because ability, Thunderclap Flash. At the end of your first turn, take a Lightning Energy from Energy Zone and attach it to this Pokemon. So yeah, you're getting essentially a free Electric Energy, very great. The card acting kind of like an energy support. So yeah, again, you can pair this with Elemental Switch to feed your active Pokemon. But aside from that, I mean, Lightning Claw doing 50 damage is pretty good. Only requires 2 energy. Your next turn, if you feed him 1 more energy, this card can just attack. So yeah, just good. The kind of self-sustaining in a sense when it comes to energy. Very nice. Next card is Espeon EX. This card paired with the Sylveons is pretty fun. I feel like that's kind of like the standard Psychic evolution deck is this Espeon, non-EX Espeon, non-EX Sylveon, and Sylveon EX. Getting some pretty good value. The healing is pretty good as well. If you pair this with something like PC Lady, that's essentially a Lily for any Pokemon you want. So that's pretty good. In my opinion, this card feels very similar to LEAFEON EX. In a sense that, yeah, using the ability and attacking just feels so satisfying to do. The healing can definitely win you the game. So yeah, very fun altogether. And again, paired with Sylveon EX, I'm just gonna look. Yeah, Sylveon's here. We'll get there when we get there. Very fun card. Psychic type Pokemon don't really require much energy support. So, I mean, Espeon only requires 2 energy, Sylveon as well. And then looking at Giratina, since he is Psychic, he generates his own energy. So, yeah, and I'm pretty sure Giratina is here as well. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can see him just creeping. And speaking of Giratina, yeah, smooth transition. Non-EX Giratina, not really that great anymore. But the main, this is the guy, this is the GOAT right here. This guy is the GOAT. I remember back in the day, we got 2 Giratinas. They were, one was shit, one was somewhat okay. Everyone was just begging for a good Giratina card. And Dina delivered with this guy, and they still continue to deliver because this card is still meta relevant. Came out in Shining Revelry and is still very good to this day. What makes this card pretty good if you guys don't know, one thing, HP 150, pretty decent, but the ability Broken Space Bellow, once during your turn you may take a Psychic Energy from an energy zone, attach it to this Pokemon. If you do use this ability, your turn ends. That's the main downside, but you can essentially use this card in any deck. So yeah, it requires 3 Psychic, but this card gives Psychic Energy to itself. So yeah, very great. So yeah, very self-sufficient, just kind of building either in your bench, and then once he's fully built, sub him in, doing Chaotic Impact, 130 damage. Main downside is that you do 20 damage to yourself, or you can use this guy as a wall, putting him in your active as you build up your bench Pokemon, and then after a couple turns, you can essentially free retreat since he does generate 2 energy for his retreat value, in which you can eventually retreat. So very great. And again, for foreseeable future, I can very much see this guy just being a must run for a lot of decks. It's like just constantly evolving. And on top of that, a great pairing with this card, if you guys don't know, is Giratina. Darktina, their non-canonical ship name. Yes, I said that. Very great duo. Again, the main downside is Lucario. Darkrai does somewhat counter Lucario's ability, something to note. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, when it comes to top 5 cards you want to get, if you don't have Giratina, I suggest you do, because yeah, there's going to be a lot of decks in the future that in which you have to run a Giratina, in my opinion, to make it very broken. So just a very goated card. Definitely aged very well. Sylveon, yeah, this card is pretty good. A couple months ago used to be pretty huge, even last month, but currently slowly getting phased out. In my opinion, there's a lot of decks that just ran this card just for card draw support, because if you guys don't know, Happy Ribbon, once during your turn when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may draw 2 cards. So essentially, it Professor's Research in Pokemon form. And yeah, there's a lot of decks. Like I have a deck with Solgaleo where I use this card just to draw some cards. Very great, in my opinion. Like I feel like there are pairings that like you could very much work Sylveon EX into some certain decks. As I mentioned earlier, Espeon EX, very good pairing with Sylveon. Just maximizing damage as well. 70 damage, somewhat decent. And of course, much like all the other evolutions, you could pair Eevee to do a little bit more damage. Cremi, something to note, again, very niche, not really that popular, but Sweets Overload. This attack does 40 damage for each time your Pokemon use Sweets Relay during this game. So any of your Pokemon, if they use Sweets Relay, you do 40 damage. And if you do more, if you do 6, you do 240, 7, 280, and so on and so forth. And when looking at the other cards, especially these right here, just pulling this back up, Swirlix has Sweets Relay. Looking at Slurpuff, also has Sweets Relay. Milcery, yeah, attack is also that. So you're going to be using Sweets Relay a lot. And also keep in mind, this is all non-EX. So you can just take your time. You can just get out Slurpuff and then get out Milcery eventually. And then by then, there's going to be a huge possibility that this card is going to be super broken. It's doing 200, 160 or something like that. Has a lot of potential. And again, it's one of those cards that is pretty fun, but not really that great in the meta, in my opinion. In high rank, you might struggle, but middle to low tier, and also especially solo battles, if you want a good, it's a very solid non-EX deck for solo battles. I feel like this is a good investment. Fanphy, Donphan, yeah, Donphan's decent. Came out rather recently, but at the same time, I can very much see this card getting power crept. Just pretty solid, but at the same time, yeah, not really that great in my opinion. Not really that good, but not really that bad. It's just okay. Donphan is just okay. Same thing with Garchomp. Yeah, Garchomp is pretty good. Might see some potential later on, but I feel like currently it's a very solid deck. Not really the best, but not the worst. It's like slightly above average in my opinion. Like in my opinion, a lot more fun than Donphan EX. Very debatable, but yeah, Garchomp, fan favorite Pokemon. So if you do like Garchomp, I mean, yeah, you might as well run this guy. Linear attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. You can just target anybody, and then after a couple of turns, you can use Dragon Claw, doing 100. Very great, very fun. Galadia EX used to be pretty good. Could come back, especially if they had a card that compare pretty well with this card. Energized Blade requires 2 energy, does 70 damage. This attack does 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Let's say your opponent's using Giratina EX and that Giratina EX is fully built. You sub this guy into your active. This card is doing 150 damage to that Giratina. Just flat out. So yeah, a lot of potential, but at the same time, again, it really depends on the meta for one thing. In the Suicune meta, this card is only doing 110 damage onto that Suicune. Granted, I mean, you could 2-hit KO, but at the same time, there are far better decks, in my opinion. Yeah, currently right now, fighting type isn't really that great compared to water type and, in my opinion, electric. Currently, I feel like currently water type and electric are the best color archetypes currently. And I mean, you could also argue darkness with Guzzlord. Very standard, very solid stuff. So I have CROBAT EX, very solid this darkness card in my opinion. The only main downside about this card is that it is a stage 2 and you want to get this card out as fast as possible. So if you can get CROBAT out, if you can get this CROBAT EX out your second turn, if you go second, you just get a huge lead against your opponent pretty much. Because yeah, the 70 damage, 170 HP, very tanky. We got Lily support as well. Also poisoning your opponent. So if you want, you could pair this guy with Nihilego to do a little bit more damage. And yeah, essentially in a turn, you're doing basically 80 damage if you have 2 Nihilegos out. Yeah, very fun. When it comes to the meta, not really that prominent. I feel like people kind of prefer to run Guzzler EX, and Guzzler EX does require a bit of RNG, but again, we do have Will. Yeah, overall pretty solid in my opinion. Not really that great, but again, they could very much add a card in the future that could pair well with this, and he could be instantly S tier. This card could come back. Very much can see that. Weavile used to be super good back in the day, especially paired with Darkrai. This guy, again, Darktina. I already mentioned this, but Darktina is very good. And with that being said, Darkrai, HP 140, somewhat on the weaker end, but at the same time, very powerful in my opinion because of the ability Nightmare Aura. Whenever you attach a Darkness energy from your energy zone to this Pokemon, do 20 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Referencing Oricorio, you can just damage Oricorio with your ability Nightmare Aura. Dark Prism is pretty good as well, doing 80 damage. Pretty much use Nightmare Aura every turn, which is why Darktina is a huge go-to combo. And just keep feeding Darkrai EX. Each turn you feed Darkrai EX, and then when it comes to Giratina builds himself up. Yep, just very self-sufficient. And at the same time, you're building this guy up as well as chipping your opponent. So you're just getting so much value with Darktina. I feel like that's like, yeah. I can't stop praising Darktina. I feel like, if anything, if you're a new player, a very solid deck to invest in is definitely that, in my opinion. But the main downside is, again, of course, Oricorio. Back in the day, it was much more manageable, especially once when Oricorio first released. Because back then, Lightning type wasn't really that great. Like, people would run Oricorio in non-lightning type decks and pretty much just have him as a wall. Not attacking, just being kind of like, in a sense, very similar to Druddigon. But then nowadays, since lightning type is popping off, it's going to be pretty difficult to run Darktina in my opinion. But again, it really depends. I can very much see them adding an Oricorio counter. But yeah, still overall, if you're not going against Oricorio, I feel like Darktina is still a very solid deck choice to just invest in. And again, Darkrai, very great in a lot of decks, as well as Giratina. I feel like currently Giratina is getting more love, like in a lot of decks. I feel like he's always going to be kind of a staple point for darkness. Like, sure, there's going to be some archetypes like Guzzlord and stuff, but I mean, I can very much see them adding another darkness type Pokemon that can very much synergize pretty well with Darkrai. And again, referencing this, as I said earlier, back in the day, Weavile EX was paired with Darkrai. Very great pairing. Next cards we have are Nihilego. Again, very good for poison damage. The last darkness type we have is Guzzlord EX. Yeah, currently this guy is pretty good in the meta, essentially because of the ability Grindcore. Only 30 damage, flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Essentially a Team Rocket's grunt. And at the same time, yeah, it's very great. So this could just mess up your opponent, and you can just keep on feeding this guy until you can do Tyrannical Hole, just do 120. And if you can keep on getting heads, you can pretty much just mess up your opponent, especially if they're trying to build up their active Pokemon. Granted, it does require a bit of RNG, but if you guys remember, there's Will. This guy right here, this freaking Elite Four member himself. After using this card during that same turn, the first coin flip will be a guaranteed heads. So yeah, very great pairing in my opinion. If you hate RNG, if you want to just kind of boost your RNG a little bit, does definitely help you out. In the current meta, very great, but in the future, I can very much see this guy slowly getting phased out. But just look at him, man. This guy is about to just eat a planet. That's I don't even know what he's supposed to be. Is he supposed to be like a space crab pretty much? Yeah, but yeah, that's Guzzler EX. Those are all the darkness types. We're just proceeding into Steel. Solgaleo, still pretty good in my opinion. I used this guy in the previous meta. Yeah, ability Rising Mode is pretty great because it kind of counteracts if your opponent tries to Sabrina you to mess you up. Yeah, essentially a free retreat from your active. So if this guy's in your bench, once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your bench, you may switch it with your active Pokemon, which is why, in my opinion, a great pairing is with, of course, Sylveon EX. This card has a retreat value of 1, but it doesn't matter because, yeah, this guy's essentially, you can just free retreat pretty much. And attack Soul Breaker does 120 damage. It only requires 2 energy, which is, I feel like, why this card is pretty good because it only requires 2. After attacking, this Pokemon does 10 damage to itself. There's a good way to counteract this. A good way to counteract this is with leftovers, because as you can see at the end of your turn, if this the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot, heal 10 damage from that Pokemon. So yeah, just instantly healing that 10 damage. This card is also rather tanky, 180 HP, and on top of that, you can also pair this card with Lily. So yeah, very tanky. And again, the main downside is the attack ability right here, but leftovers. So it doesn't really matter. Like this is a very good pairing in my opinion. And I feel like pairing this with Sylveon EX is pretty great because ideally you do want to get Solgaleo out as fast as possible. Yeah, I feel like the ideal scenario is that you go second and then during your second turn, Solgaleo's out doing 120. And then by then, if you get that much of a lead, your opponent really can't do anything. So yeah, very fun. I feel like it's slowly getting phased out of the meta. Not really that prominent anymore, but still very fun to run. You can very much run this in higher ranks and see a bit of success. Dragonite. This guy, I made a deck showcase. If you guys want to check it out to my channel, rather recent. High risk, high reward. This card is very much a high risk, high reward card. Yeah, that's something to note. So Giga Impact requires 2 types of energy, but at the same time, you can very much run this card using only 1 type of color energy. So yeah, keep in mind, it requires 2 energy, but at the same time, there are baby Pokemon such as Mantike and Pichu that you could very much run, kind of get the other energy type. So that's, yeah, the main downside, of course, is Giga Impact, but there is a way to bypass this with Lyra. It's kind of confusing to explain, but yeah, again, I have a deck showcase on my channel if you want to check that out. If you want to know more about this, because yeah, 180 damage is very good, but all I'm going to say is that that deck that I used, it was high risk, high reward. There's going to be a lot of times where you just brick, but at the same time, it's just so satisfying to use. If you pull off the combo correctly, then yeah, 180 is pretty nice. On top of that, we'll see, I don't know if he's here. He's not, damn. I was gonna mention a non-EX Dragonite, but yeah, I guess they didn't decide to include him, unfortunately. They included the Giratinas, 2 copies of Giratinas, but they don't include non-EX Dragonite. What? Why? This, okay. Nice. Anyways, that's basically Dragon type. Not really that much, of course. Just really just, is that really it? Damn. Okay. they didn't bring Judging or anything, just pretty much Dragonite. Okay. That's nice. So we're just proceeding on to Colorless, and then after this, of course, we're getting into the full arts and gold rarity cards. Now, Eevee right here, yeah, if you want to run a full-on evolution deck, I feel like this guy is kind of essential. Usually, you can't evolve EX Pokemon, so Pikachu EX cannot evolve into Raichu, any type of Raichu. So something to note. However, this card's ability, what makes this card, this EX special, is this ability, V-Evolve. This Pokemon can evolve into any Pokemon that evolves from Eevee if you play it from your hand onto this Pokemon. In other words, treat this as a regular Eevee. That's pretty much it. Pretty much, this card is pretty much a regular Eevee, but riskier to run because, of course, an EX. So the only time you're running this card is pretty much if you want to run 4 evolutions. So bringing back my deck showcase I mentioned, the Flareon, Sylveon, and LEAFEON deck. For that deck, you have to run Eevee EX to maximize it. But if you're just running 1 copy of an evolution, then yeah, just stray away from using this guy whatsoever. The non-EXs are a lot better, especially since they're a lot less risky. So yeah, there's really no point running this Eevee if you're not running the non-EX Eevee. Arceus, okay, here we go. We're getting into the meat of things. Yet again, into the meat. We got Arceus. Freaking god of Pokemon himself. This card has seen a bit of resurgence, especially with the introduction of baby Pokemon. So if you're running baby Pokemon, just run into a hypothetical right here. So if you go second, you have a baby Pokemon in your active. It doesn't really matter which one. It really depends on your other cards. But let's say you have like a Pichu. You have a Pichu in your active, Arceus in your bench. You go second, you feed 1 energy to Arceus EX, then use Pichu's ability to feed him yet another one. Your next turn, Arceus is just fully built. And then you can just free retreat from that Pichu. So you're getting a lot of value in my opinion with Arceus and baby Pokemon. Very nice synergy. And of course, you want your whole backline to be filled, doing 130. Main downside is that Arceus is rather frail, 140. But yeah, if you want to run an Arceus deck, you very much can. Currently in the meta, I feel like you can see a huge, yeah, that's Arceus. Very great, pretty good investment in my opinion, because again, when he first came out, he was pretty huge. Then he kind of fell off the meta, and then now he's having a bit of resurgence. And yeah, just a very good investment in my opinion. Speaking of another good investment, we have Silvally. This card, yeah, very fun. I really do like it because, I mean, depending on your pairing, you can very much just make a full non-EX deck with Silvally. So yeah, HP 110. Yeah, great buddies, that's 50 base damage. And if you played a supporter card from your hand this turn, this attack does 50 more damage. So you can do 100 damage in total, which doesn't seem that much, but I feel like it's pretty good, especially since this is a non-EX card. So I mean, if you're running a non-EX deck, this is very insane value in my opinion. Only requires 2 energy, and also keep in mind there are baby Pokemon. So if you go first, the worst scenario for this card is that if you go first. Because if you go first, your second turn, if you do get Silvally out, Silvally will only have 1 energy. But with the addition of baby Pokemon, you can just kind of bypass that, making it so that you do get fully built. Which, yeah, Silvally it's a very fun archetype, and it's evolved over time, especially with the introduction of baby Pokemon. Like, yeah, the first deck I've seen of this is paired with Rampardos. Then I saw other variations. It kind of went into Lightning with Zeraora and Oricorio. And then now we have baby Pokemon as well. So this deck is constantly evolving. I feel like this is very great because, yeah, it's colorless. So this deck will just constantly evolve. I can very much see this card being meta relevant for foreseeable future. And it's a very solid investment. If you just want a good non-EX deck, I feel like Silvally is like the best. Like whatever it is, it revolves around Silvally. And yeah, currently very good investment in my opinion. Definitely one of the best cards in this list. Next card, Celesteela. I mentioned this before, but yeah, pretty much a must run if you're running a Buzzwole EX deck. And yeah, those are all the Diamond Rarity Pokemon cards. Slowly losing my voice, but we're at the final stretch right here. So we're just going to be going over supporter items, and then after that into the full art, just looking at all of them. Yeah, this might be a super long video, but at the same time, if you guys are enjoying this, if you enjoy just me talking and then me yeah, my avatar, if you like this, then yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out tremendously. I really like making these types of videos. And yeah, just getting into trainers. So EV bag, very essential for evolutions in my opinion. Just very good support because this card has 2 types of abilities. First is that you just basically do plus 10 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon using one of your evolutions. And the second one is that you just heal an evolution. You heal 20. So yeah, and keep in mind this is an item, so you could pair 2 of them. And you can pair red on top of that. So you can just do plus 40 depending on the scenario, plus 60 if you have type advantage. It's very fun. I feel like, yeah, just pairing 2 of these and then redding as well, you're just, yeah, your opponent really doesn't stand a chance. Very satisfying to pull off. Element to switch. This card is essentially, I don't know if Dawn's here. I doubt she would show her if she's here. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, this card is essentially a better version for Dawn. For 3 color types. So element to switch, move fire, water, or lightning energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active. And this is an item, so you could pair this with a supporter. You could very much pair this with, like, I don't know, if you want Professor's Research, you could Mars, Guzma, anything you want. So I feel like that's very good that it is an item. But again, it only works for 3 types. But currently in this meta, those 3 types are somewhat dominating it. More so for water and lightning, but still very nice. Old Amber, this is used to evolve into, if you want to run most stage 2s, you want to have a rare candy. I feel like the only real exception is of course Magneton. Very go-to trainer item. I feel like, yeah, I mean, this card essentially revolutionized the game. The way you play the game, it made it a lot faster, made Charizard, Shining Revelry Charizard actually viable. So yeah, if anything, if you don't have this, it's a must get. Because I mean, for the foreseeable future, they're definitely going to add very broken stage 2 EXs, and this might be a must run for them, unless they add a very broken middle evolution like Magneton, which they very much can. I think they should, pretty much. That would be pretty cool to see. Pokemon communication really does vary depending on your deck. Could help you out a lot. Electrical cord. I'm just gonna kind of skim through these because I mean, these are, I feel like most of you guys already know these. Electrical cord, Giant Cape, Rocky Helmet, yeah, very standard stuff. Leaf Cape, Cyrus. Yeah, if you don't have a Cyrus, you must get him. He's just very great. Just huge core component into the meta, just into the game in general. Erica, Irida, Lyra, Giovanni, Silver, Sabrina, very similar to Cyrus, but again, it really is variable. It really depends on your scenario. Iono, Dawn. Again, Dawn's only good pretty much for the other archetypes that are not the 3 that I mentioned earlier for Elemental Switch. Mars, pretty good. Very great card, especially towards the late game, in my opinion. Just messing with your opponent tremendously. In my opinion, a must run if you're running Darktina. Because I'm just going to pull them up. I feel like she's worth talking about. So Mars, your opponent shuffles their hand into your deck and draws a card for each of the remaining points needed to win. So let's say like towards the end game, you're running Darktina, and then your opponent knocks out your active, whether that's Giratina or Darkrai. Your opponent has 2 points. You use Mars, and let's say they have like 4 or 5 cards. They're about to like mess you up. They have like a win condition, Sabrina or like Cyrus or whatever. You Mars, they're down to 1 card. So you can get a lot of value, especially if your opponent's running Sylvia and stuff like that to get a bunch of cards. Yeah, Mars can very much... I've won a lot of games because of Mars, and I've lost a lot of games because of this card. So you can get a lot of value just running. And I feel like, especially for Darktina, since they're both EXs, yeah, late game, you're basically guaranteed just insane value. Next card's Leaf. Yeah, pretty good as well. Essentially a must run depending on your deck. Lily, same thing good for stage 2s. Lusamine, great for Ultra Beast, of course. Red, very good. And yeah, those are all the trainers. We're in the final stretch right here. It's almost over. My voice can finally rest. I'm actually losing my voice right now. But yeah, we are going over the 1-star gold up until crown rare card. Also the immersive art, which I'll show at the end of this video. But very cool art. I feel like it kind of summarizes all this, all the EXs from the series, all the metas. And yeah, first card we have is Floragato. Pulling it up, just admiring this art. Very cool to see because Sprigatito has a full art as well as Meowscarada, so it's cool that Floragato gets one as well. Yeah, I wonder what the lore here is about. I don't really know much about Meowscarada, but that's pretty cool. Just gonna briefly look at them. Just Crawdont. Yeah, just in the rain. Not really gonna talk much about the cards because again, just kind of showcasing the looks, giving my first impressions. Greninja, absolutely goated card. A lot of people are saying that this might be a Smash Brothers reference because this is a very similar kind of stance Greninja took, and a very similar setting to his reveal in Smash Brothers. So that's pretty cool. That's very nice. I really do like the black and white and like the artistic art style. Yes, I can art. I can talk art. I took like 4 years of art in school, so yeah, totally. Gardevoir, very cool art as well. Look at that. Really do like the flowers. Not really that great, but again, I feel like when it comes to collecting most of these, aside from the meta relevant ones, you're just collecting some of these just because this is a collector. Because I mean, this is a collecting game. There is the meta. The meta is relatively like dominant when it comes to this content in this game. But at the same time, I mean, people do like collecting. I understand that. Slurpuff, just look at that. Just baking some cookies. Great. About to eat some sweets. Perfect. Amazing. Doing 90 damage. Farfetch, flying around, just looking at those. I think those are rice fields. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, this is very cool. Nice looking art. They really did cook. Buzzwole EX. Oh my gosh. Look at this buff ass bug. Literally flexing on you. Flexing on your opponents. This guy is, yeah, he's a true flexer. This guy is a true BM or whatever you want to call him. Man, look at his face. Just, yeah, that region. Very interesting. There's a lot. This is a very interesting art style. People are saying that this might be a new rarity, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is only for this, because there's definitely a style to this. I mean, just looking at it, just this Pokeball icon right here. This is Buzzwole EX. Looking at the other ones, just again briefly. Yeah, same thing. So this might be, it's technically not another rarity in a sense, because I mean, they're kind of vague when it comes to 2 stars, in my opinion. So I mean, this is yeah, that's I would still consider this as 2-star. I have so many tabs open right now. Holy fuck. Okay. Yeah, Ho, just, yeah, very cool. Just spreading his wings. That's iconic Ho-Oh pose. Palkia. Yeah, just very good. Very straightforward. I'm not really going to talk much about these. Just take a moment to look at it. If you want to pause, just admire this art. Be like, should I get this? Should I not? It's really hard to tell because the game decides if you get it or not, unless you spend enough to buy it with pack points. And when it comes to pack points, I'm assuming it's going to be the same as the 2-star gold cards. I just checked right now, and a 2-star gold card costs 1,250 pack points. So something to note. You guys are curious. But yeah, just continuing to skim through it. Mew EX, look at that, using Side Shot, or is hacking your genomes, I guess. Very cool. Really do like this. I mean, honestly, part of me prefers this over the gold. the gold crown rarity cards, because I feel like there's definitely more attention to detail with these. In my opinion, they could very much add a bit more gold to this to make it kind of like that. Just like replace this with crown rarities. I mean, there's a bit of gold as well, as you can see in some of these. Actually, I think most of these, yeah, have a bit of gold. Solgaleo looking absolutely amazing. Eevee. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm really scared that my computer will just crash. Let me close some tabs. That's yeah, dude, my voice is actually dying right now. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying. Hopefully you're still watching this. If you watch this towards this point, yeah, leave a like and subscribe. Really does help me out a ton. Lugia, Arceus, very great. Really do like that. And when it comes to the trainers, we got some trainers right here. Professor, this is probably on everyone's wish list right here. Despite you can't really trade it, but yeah, this is definitely on my personal wish list. Professor Research, I mean, full art Professor Oak, I'll definitely take it. Especially since this card is pretty much at this point a must run for just any deck in general. Yeah, I can very much see him being replaced, if anything, because of power creep. If they ever add a card that can be like, oh, draw 3, or like draw 2, and then if you get heads, you can draw 2 more or something like that. Yeah, rip Professor Oak. But currently, still a must run. Lily, yeah, she's here for some reason. Cool, I guess. Keep in mind, Lily already has another 2 gold rarity art. Yeah, this is the one from the Celestial Guardians. Yeah, just her with a hat, and then her without a hat, I guess. That's also, her hair's different, so yeah, something to note. And yeah, speaking of Lily, we got her mom, Lucamine. Holy crap, they really did cook with this art. Just take a while to admire this. I'll be honest, I don't know much about Sun and Moon. I played it a bit, didn't really complete it, and but I do know, I don't know in the anime, but definitely in the manga, she was messed up. She was like the worst mom. She terrorized her kids, and she was very sadistic. And I know at one point she does fuse with an Ultra Beast. And looking at this, that looks very nice. I really do like this full art. Definitely one of the best 2 gold rarity full arts in my opinion. Very cool. Pikachu EX, yeah, very cool. We'll talk about this towards the end of the video just to end it off. I'll play the immersive art. We have the Genetic Apex Chaser cards right here. Very cool. As well as more, as you can see, yeah, you'll see later on in the immersive. Really does summarize Series A. And when it comes to shinies, we only have 2 shinies, which is good. Because a lot of people hate shinies because it does definitely mess up the Wonder Pick system. And given that, this is the best choice when it comes to shinies. We got 2 non-canonical lovers, yet again. Darktina in their shiny forms, really like the blue in Giratina right here. Darkrai, pretty good. Not really a big fan, in my opinion. I do like Giratina a lot more, but very cool to see. Very much do like this. And last card we have is the gold rarity card. Rare candy. It had to be rare candy. I kind of hope I don't get one of these. Like, if anything, I hope I get 2 or none at all. Because if I get 1, it feels weird. I have 1 Pokeball, 1 golden Pokeball, and it just feels off because I do want another copy. Yeah, with that being said, I mean, I feel like this is kind of perfect when it comes for a gold rarity card. Because, yeah, either that or a golden Professor Oak. One of those 2. Rare candy or golden Professor Oak. I would love to see this guy, but golden. Imagine a golden... He's just golden for some reason. Just like skin's gold, everything's gold. It's like a gold statue of him. That would be very cool to see. And yeah, that's all the cards on the list. Talked a lot. Honestly, I might trim it a bit. I feel like I did talk a lot in some areas, and I might just trim it just for the sake of time, because currently I've been recording for 2 hours. This took me 2 hours to record. And yeah, again, leave a like and subscribe if you like this. By the time I'm uploading this video, the pack should be out. If not, then it should be coming out in like probably like an hour or 2, depending on how long it'll take me to edit this. But yeah, release date September 30th, and keep in mind, this will end on October 30th. So you have 1 month and 379 cards. A lot of cards from 1 pack, which is pretty unfortunate, but keep in mind, there are Wonder Picks. And given that, you're going to get a lot of good Wonder Picks, because 2 gold rarities. They're going to be in Wonder Picks. 3 as well. Actually, not 3. Not 3. But yeah, 2 gold rarity. And in this pack, there's only 2 shinies. And if you guys don't know, what ruins shinies most of the time is because of Wonder Picks. Because it really, yeah, you can't get a Wonder Pick with a shiny, which I don't get why, but that's just how the game is. And yeah, that's the video. Hopefully, watching this, you will get kind of a consensus on like what you should get, what you shouldn't, how good things are, and how good they will be in the future. Slowly losing my voice. I'm probably going to pass out before I edit this and probably eat lunch because I haven't eaten yet. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Really do appreciate this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I really do appreciate all the support I've been getting, especially with my top 5 video. And speaking of that, I'll definitely get another one out probably next week. I have one recorded already. I just have to edit it and then kind of just, yeah, upload it. So yeah, I really do appreciate it, all the support. And yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.